Welcome to Photoshop Peeps. I thought I'd make a little video to go over 5 simple yet effective tips for you to use when using Photoshop, especially if you're coming from Pixlr or maybe you're from DigiArt. Here's some things that I wish I knew when I had first started. 5 tips. One is the menu system, and I've made a dummy system here. I think you guys might be using the Essentials one to start, but those are just suggestions, and especially if you're on a laptop, if you have 2 columns worth of these, it's eating up a lot of your real estate or the amount of space you have to work. The bigger the space you have, the better. So you can actually modify all of your menus or palettes or windows. And my suggestion is, if you don't know what it is, don't use it. You know what layers is. You know what the history palette is. If you were coming from Pixlr, you know what the navigator palette is. And notice how you can put these together. I tend to use the character for text because there's lots of options there, not so much the paragraph. But you can build your own system. The other one you might want is history. Oh, we already have it there. So history, navigation, and layers are the 3 from Pixlr. The other ones you can use if you so desire. I tend to use adjustments. You can move these around, and once you get the setup that you like, you can get rid of all the other ones. And I'm going to not, in terms of time, I'm going to leave that. You can then, over up here, you can actually save this as a new workspace. You can do it up in the other menu as well, and you could give it a name. It'll come up. And as you're working, if things get messed around, you could always say reset that name of your workspace. I'm going to go back. I've already made some other dummy ones, but the one I use is mine. I call it mine. So this is my setup here. I like seeing the history. I can jump back quickly, and these are some other ones that I'm used to using, along with, of course, layers. I like having lots of space for my layers so I don't have to scroll down. So, top tip number 1 is sort out your menu system. Use only what you know. You can always update it later, and try to conserve some space for your image. Tip 2, as a matter of fact, I'm going to go over to the menu. Actually, I don't use Navigator often because I know that Command plus or Command minus is a way that I can zoom in and zoom out. So I sometimes will have this hanging around, but usually I'm used to a few keyboard shortcuts. So tip 2, Command plus, Command minus zooms in and out, and you can use this guy over here, zoom as well, but I find it faster to do it the other way. I'm looking at my list. Scrubbing. I'm going to make a new layer here. And one of the things that, actually let's do it right here. Let's go, what layer is this? I didn't make this, so it wasn't named. Let's make a new layer. I'm going to go to the text. I'm just going to put some dummy thing in here. And one of the things that you can, I've highlighted the font, and I'm just scrolling with my mouse wheel. I probably can do it on the touchpad as well. But all the menus in Photoshop, you shouldn't have to be doing this unless you're looking for a specific one, because anytime you see a drop-down menu right beside it, you can scrub. So I'm just holding that, and I'm just pulling left and right. It's all over the place. Over here in the layers palette, the opacity you can change as well. Anytime you have a drop-down menu. So, tip 3, scrubbing it's called. Tip 4. This is a good example of tip 4 that you don't get in Pixlr. Notice that these layers are grouped. If you have 25 layers, it can get confusing. You can select certain layers. I'm holding the Command key, and you can actually use the group icon at the bottom of the layers palette. I think it's on the screen here. I'm not sure. If it's not, I'm going to move it. There it is. So there's a group function, and you can put those and give it a name. The benefit of that is it keeps things organized, and you can make adjustments to groups. So I'm just going back in my history if I don't do that. That's tip 4. And tip 5 of things that I wish I knew at the beginning. I'm going to go, it's unfortunately not in my window, at the top of the screen, I'm under View, it's just off here, and I have rulers turned on. If I do this, rulers are turned off. What's the big deal with the rulers, Sturgeon? Well, when you have rulers, you have a ruler at the top, and on the left-hand side, if you right-click, you can change the units, and because I'm working in pixels, I've put pixels for my document. And all of these blue lines are guidelines made from the rulers. So for example, if I want to add, these are all here at certain midpoints and certain number of pixels from the sides. So all I do is I click the ruler and I can use this to line up or to measure things. So let's say I wanted to put it on the top of the hand because I want to put something over here, and we know your alignment's going to be on. Similarly, you could do something similar to line something else up or to put something in line as well. And that's under View, Rulers. And then later on you can turn the guides off if you don't need them. So those are 5 tips. Menu system, scrubbing, Command plus, Command minus, groups in layers, and rulers and guides. I think those 5 little tips might help you out. If you have specific questions, please ask. Next video is going to talk about some bonus tools, and if you have not gotten around to using the quick selection tool, that's my favorite tool, especially compared to Pixlr. Thanks for listening. Please come again.